Alright. So I woke up this morning, felt like trash, so I walked around the corner to the strip club. I live in the kind of community that doesn't do zoning, so there actually is a strip club just amongst single family houses. Which during the weekdays on the afternoon, you can see the middle school girls crossing the crosswalk with their backpacks this way, and the dancers going this way with their backpacks to work. It's almost kind of like a glimpse into the future if you look just hard enough. Don't blame the shortfalls of LAUSD on me. Just tell a story, alright? But I walked in and immediately I was like, okay, this is great and terrible at the same time, because I was like, all the dancers are ugly and they're all single moms. So I was like, that's perfect, because that means that they're all part-time in nursing school, which is why I went, because I don't have health care. And I have a lingering ear infection. But I think I'm on the net. We got a little group together, we had a little powwow, and they've been about to graduate for the last 5 years, so we know some things, and I think we got it kind of dialed in, so it went all right. But I was able to make it back to the house and watch Seinfeld reruns, which is cool. I've been a Seinfeld fan since I was a kid. Being a Seinfeld fan during your formative years, it's interesting because I've picked up all of Larry David's weird kind of paranoid tendencies. Like there's an episode where Elaine tells Jerry she fakes all her orgasms, and I'm like, fuck, how am I ever gonna know? So like, short of waiting a few days to determine how soon and eagerly they call back, there's not a whole lot of ways to figure it out. Like, unless they just like spray across the room and ruin all the paperwork I accidentally left on the countertop the evening before. But I did figure out one way, and doesn't work every time. I know if they're not faking if this happens. So a girl came through like last summer, Jamaican girl, sweet chick, and if they yell something that you would not yell in normal conversation under right mind, you have to be caught in some kind of a moment. This girl having an orgasm, I swear to God, it's a direct quote. Everything else that I say is pretty much fiction. This is real. She yells, oh, I can't believe a white guy would fuck me like this. It was the first time I've been with her, so I had to, put my best foot forward, so I didn't break rhythm. I mean, first night in, I'm not breaking rhythm through an earthquake or a fire alarm, but my facial expression changed. And she noticed it out of the corner of her eye, because her face was right there, she yelled at the top of her lungs. I'm like, and she sees me, she goes, oh, I mean, no offense. For some reason, I yelled back, I think because I just was trying to communicate on an even playing field. The only thing that came to mind, I was like, none taken, I suppose. And that was that, and it went all right. It went all right. But I don't want everybody to think I'm just like another ginger comic up here. I'm a comic from the rose gold community. I'm trying to brand ourselves. I'm trying to get us some sort of protected minority status in case I get fired. Or so I can sue everybody for not hiring me because it's a tough economy. So I'm just happy that for our group, we've been persecuted for a lot of years. We were called gingers for a long time. No other community had to deal with being named after the joke in a South Park episode. It's not fair. So we're now the rose gold community, and that's what we are. And at the very least, we don't have religions that are like, you're not going to go to heaven unless you just treat this group like shit. At least we're not them, which is cool. So all I'm basically trying to do is whatever the gay community did, because they came from obscurity to being so powerful that they got governors changing laws like in 2 minutes, no problem, any uproar, whatever. So I'm like, I want to be like that. So like, what did they do? Well, they got all together and said, we need to bond together and get strong. First thing they did, bang, they got their own accent out of the clear blue. No other group in the world has an accent that doesn't come from a place. They just showed up accent ready, pow! I can't think of a rose gold accent for the life of me, so I'm already behind the curve. It's awful. But they do a great job of trying to kind of cozy up their oppression to black oppression, which is cool because, some of the states you can get married, some you can't, whatever. But you can switch. You can leave states and get married. It's not a big deal. If you couldn't, then they'd have to have like a gay underground railroad where they kind of gathered at night under cover of darkness in the forest trying to sneak across a straight line. But with all the loud theatrical, nonsense and bright colors, they wouldn't make it a half mile. They get shut down like in 2 seconds. But somebody asked me last week with all the Indianapolis stuff going on, like, are you in favor of gay marriage? I'm like, fuck no. And they're like, oh, you're like a bigot asshole. I'm like, no, you're just bad at asking questions. If you asked me if I was in favor of heterosexual marriage, you'd have picked up some consistency there, because I don't believe in that either. And the guy's like, wait, so you're just not in favor of marriage? Like, welcome to the conversation. My name's Peter. He goes, what's that on your neck? I'm like, fucking stripper makeup. What do you expect? Have you been paying attention the last 5 minutes? Shit. So that's my weekend. Thank you, guys.